Going for a surf with Guy is like going for a surf. Well, it starts off like going for a surf with the gazelle. Guy runs. He sprints.
Yeah.
And I waddle at best. So he's already half an hour in front of me there.
Yeah.
He gets 10 waves in 20 minutes and then goes, I think I'm done. By this point, I paddled out and sat on the peak and waited for one. And 10 minutes in, I've had one wave.
Yeah.
I know the concept of what you're saying, that you can there is an element of surfing's in the mind, isn't there? There's an element of that.
Yeah.
But if you don't get waves, doesn't matter where it is, does it?
I know, it's just...
Do you know what I mean? If they don't come to you and you don't get one, then...
You know, we were just talking about Kira and Superbank, and I've just got a completely different attitude surfing there these days. It's just like, I paddle out thinking I'm not going to get a wave, and literally paddle out and I just drift in the rip. The first wave that comes my way, just catch it.
Yeah, don't be
and ride it and whatever, you go as far as you can, you flick off, and generally there you get waves in you come off the back of that one and almost paddle out and get straight into another.
Yeah. Get in the rhythm.
But just don't ever sit in one spot and paddle against the rip and look at guys who are on waves thinking, oh God, is he going to fall off? No, you just got to almost, your world ends at the nose of your board, and it's just, you're just in that little world. And again, you just low expectations.
That's it, that you have to force yourself into the rhythm, right? If you're having a bad surf and you're just brush it off and you just be like, right, I'm going to go on a wave and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do nothing. I don't care what wave it is. And then once you just start getting back into the motion of cruising down a wave, you'll be like, oh, I'll kick off this one, and then suddenly, like you said, you might just see a peak there and you're like, oh, just going to go to that one, and then that one links to that, and then suddenly you get out at 2 hours
Potts always says that.
Yeah.
He says you need to go through a red light, throw yourself over the falls. Yeah. If you're not getting one, just go on a close out.
Yeah.
And it'll put you into a different part of the ocean, and that puts you into a different rhythm.
Yeah, just like a little shock to the system and then start again.
I can't do that.
Can you not go on a close out?
No, I just don't think a shock works for me.
But you pick waves up straight away, don't you? You never sit there for 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think I've developed that. I don't like it. I used to literally be paddle straight out. I had to have a wave within five minutes. If I hadn't had a wave within 5 minutes, I'm peaking.
Yeah.
Normally I did get one within 5 minutes, but if I didn't, I'm peaking.
Going for a surf.
Now I can sort of last maybe 10.
Going for a surf with Guy is like going for a surf. Well, it starts off like going for a surf with the gazelle.
Yeah.
So if you're going, I don't know, somewhere where it's like you're surfing down the corner or something like that.
Yeah.
Guy runs. He sprints.
Yeah.
And I waddle at best. So he's already half an hour in front of me there.
Yeah.
And then he surfs for he gets 10 waves in 20 minutes and then goes, I think I'm done. By this point, I paddled out and sat on the peak and waited for one. And 10 minutes in, I've had one wave.
Yeah. It's so funny.
No car sharing then?
No.
No carpooling for that one? Yeah, that's fair. We went with one of the boys here and he sprinted off down the beach. By the time we got to the water's edge, he's holding his chest, he's like, oh, I think I'm done. I was like, you lazy bugger. But no, I'm a slow burner. I'll paddle out, I'll talk to 20 people. I'll paddle over the best waves of the day and then I'll be like, oh, it's all right here, isn't it? After just letting all the bombs go and then just slowly warm up. I'm getting old, you see. So, knowing what you both know now about your surfing, if you could travel back to the beginning of your surfing careers and your journeys, what do you reckon you'd tell to yourselves to progress better or learn quicker? Or
I'd stay in Oz.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I would have definitely engineered my life to not be living in England.
There's that.
Yeah.
I mean, no, today at North Fistral could have been anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
If you got the good ones, They were amazing.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you get the odd day, but on a general day, it's average, and you know it's great because it's your hometown and you know people and you have a good buzz, you know, and it's fun. But I don't know.
Do you not think though? It's kind of a blessing having those average waves as your sort of like 9 to 5, and then when someone rings up and goes, we're going to Morocco for 10 days, or we're going to the Canaries, or we're going to Oz, or we're going to Indo, like that excitement to surf is just so much more.
Yeah, I think you've definitely got a point.
That's
I don't
really
travel
valid point.
as much as I used to. Guy's good at still getting out there and doing it, but I find it difficult financially to get away.
Hard, yeah.
But so that I'd have. But I mean, it's also cheaper to live in other countries, so I might have like just engineered at the start of the journey. Going back to your question, I think I'd have gone if I knew then what I don't know, whatever that is. Then I'd have gone, right, okay, this is a pretty good place to stay.
Yeah, Bali, Indo's really cheap.
Indo's really cheap.
Oh, I could just surf really good waves all the time.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying though. If your bar is set so high at your local, at some point that becomes the norm and becomes just beige. Yeah. And so then you're looking at the day of days, like say Ulus or wherever you happen to live. Yeah. And you know, I always think, how the hell does someone like Kelly Slater get actually buzzed in a surf? You know, he's had these incredible waves all his life, and then he rocks up somewhere and it's like 2 foot and onshore. Like, what's his?
Yeah. But he's buzzed to surf everything, though, isn't he retired 2 days ago, and he's already in the next 2 comps.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get him over here for the.
Do you reckon? I reckon we should ask him.
Wow. What's the biggest name we could get? We could get some of the Euro guys, I reckon, once upon a day. That's our like kind of. That's what we're aiming for. Yeah. We would really like to get some kind of support financially that we could grow the event to become the European single fin comp.
Well, it has a scope because the one in Oz is huge, right? It's like seen all over the place. Yeah. Everyone goes to it. It's full of names. Like it's a massive event, and the one at Little Fistral is just so core.
And Ulus,
and it's like it's a big one.
Event. It's quite sort of like a global field to enter it.
But the one you guys do has like easily the frame to do it. You know, like it's the best weekend out of the year, easily. Like in Newquay, everyone's excited for it to come around again, and it's a really fun wave. Tends to always be good surf for it. Yeah. Like it's always.
But we do cancel it a lot.
Yeah, it's always really good when it's on, but it's never on the date that we said it would be on.
Right. Yeah.
And it definitely has like the appeal to pull people in, doesn't it?
I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? We've been here for quite a while, haven't we? And we've tried to reach out to people to get some financial backing and some support and this, that, and the other. And then if something grows into something new, it's never what it was. Yeah. So we're aware of that, and that's why we've always stayed at Little Fistral, really, because we could go to North and definitely get more. Yeah.
But it's nice,
help,
you know, when everyone's down in that car park, and it's like.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's only so many people you can get in there because of the tide, and if Kepa was there and. You know, a couple of the French guys or whatever that were a little bit, you know, kind of that niche, of that mould, then your bro might not be in it.
Yeah, turns out.
No show Josh.
No show Josh, always.
Yeah, it's a tightrope, really. Yeah. But the bottom line is that to put on an event similar to Burley, we could do it, and you know the North Fistral is still a great location with the headland there, but it's the cost, and we're not prepared to sort of risk sort of financial ruin on an if but and maybe, really. And like I say, it's
cool
local vibes
isn't
at
it?
the moment.
The thing is, like either way, you know, it's like If it gets financial back in and it goes bigger, incredible. Do you know what I mean? Really cool. Like, but even if it didn't, like, you guys have still created like one of a few events that the whole community gathers around.
People seem to like it.
Do you know what I mean? You bring everyone together, and it's like slowly more and more people from around Cornwall as well. They're like coming up to it and coming up to it, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and like it's just a great day.
This year will be the first year it'll be a 2-day event.
I was going to ask that. So now we're going into 2-day event.
Yeah, because it literally. There's literally like 2 weekends on the whole year where you could run a reasonable amount of people on the tide. Yeah. And they're generally, is it like sort of end of April and September is generally the two big sort of like spring tides where you get like 5 to 5.5 hours of surfing. Yeah. But with the people we've got now, we need like 8 hours.
Yeah, okay.
So,
so it's 2 days.
It's a 2-day thing.
I'll be there 7 in the morning surfing high tide again. It's the best time.
That is one thing. It does break a bit higher, doesn't it, now?
I mean, it seems like it's... I'm sure we're the only place in the world that has a really good reef that doesn't work.
And points. Anywhere else in the world, South Fistral would be the best left-hander ever.
Oh my God, they just need to go and get loads of sand and just dump it all the way down South Fistral and then all the way down the Gazelle to Dane Rock. 2 left-hand point breaks.
Or we could do it with a digger.
You'd have to have a really...
Sand won't stay where it is. You have to have something
for one tide.
Oh,
so at low tide, if you got like 8 swing shovels down the beach and just built a bank, and then on the pushing tide, we could build snapper in one.
You can't do it that.
You'd have to like muster the entire surf community to one beach and be like, right, everyone work.
I'm pretty sure one year there was a digger at Fistral, and they literally dragged a triangle of sand like on the beach and created, like you say, a peak for one push of the tide.
We talked about doing it at well, I'll not tell you where the location was, but because there was a ground worker that was interested in throwing a bit of money at a few things. So we were like, right, okay. And they were a big company. They had a lot of swing shovels. So we were like, well, let's do this comp. This idea where we build a bank, and then it shows off. So when they finished at 8:30, that's what we could do. When they finished at 8:30, and all those 120 swing shovels or whatever they've got on the job disappear back to Ireland or whatever, then we could just say for one day only, come and give Cornwall something back, go down Watergate. No, well, you couldn't get on the beach at Watergate. Where could you get on the beach? Fistral, let's go Fistral.
Yeah, perfect.
And pull all the sand from South Fistral, just bank up against Norfolk.
Yeah, shit, I want to be a part of it.
What are you calling it, Jack?
I don't know, break the bank.
Break the bank.
Break the bank. Come on.
If you took all the rubble as well from the A30, you'd probably keep it there for a few days. It's really hurt when you fall off and start landing on tarmac.
But I'm going to go back a little bit in your question to the kind of evolving the comp to where it is now and stuff like that. Yeah. I think there's loads of places, there's loads of stories and loads of things that we could still do with the comp in the same format as it is, with the same people, with the same weekend and that kind of. And my interest is in getting those stories out that are Newquay or Cornwall surfing stories about those boards, those original boards, and those people that own them, and now what can be like achieved in terms of quality of surfing on those boards. And what sparked it for me, there was a friend, I can't remember his name, but a mate of Angus's, his dad, Angus entered the comp, and the night before the comp, he asked his mate's dad, had he got an old, this old board materialised from the garage, and they came down, and Angus surfed on that board, and his mate's dad came down to watch. And he hadn't seen this board been ridden in X amount of years, and don't know how long it had been, but it had been stored away for a little while. The guy was jazzed.
But that is,
was a thing.
That's like the actual pinnacle of what the contest is. That is exactly what the contest should be about.
But there's so many of these stories out there
Yeah, there
that
is,
just
yeah.
need teasing out,
Yeah,
isn't there?
yeah.
And I'd like to get into where that is in Newquay, and those, not necessarily into those garages, but those, you know.
Yeah, find those stories and pull them all out and like share them with everyone so we can all
And then
understand the progression as well, then, I guess.
And it adds a little bit of depth, and then it brings even more cultural heritage to Newquay surf community, because it's like there's so many untold stories, I believe, in Newquay surf community. I think they've just kind of like, I don't know if most sports people or most surfers, or it's unique to surfing or whatever, but they kind of like, after they finish surfing, they just go, okay, I'm done, and it was good, and I don't need to share it or tell anyone about it. But it would be good to go in there and tease a few of them out and just give them a bit of a platform or an airing.
On their boards. If we just put Angus on all their boards,
Yeah.
they'd be like, oh my god,
That was, honestly, it was so cool, that guy.
You couldn't
I'd
believe
love to
how he
remember
was
his
surfing
name.
on that board either.
He was, yeah. He said to me, we were having a couple of beers, and he said that's the best that board has ever been surfed.
Yeah, definitely. But you've only got to look at the way Jay was surfing on some of those boards, and you know, the performance in those contests would have stood up against anything at Burley.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, and
Jay was a special breed.
he was
What?
a great surfer.
I reckon that was the first airverse that was ever done on that single fin.
Yeah.
But then you watch like Stokesy on him as well, and he's just his style is so suited for those boards, you know.
Absolutely amazing. Did you see the picture from the social of Ben and Lucas on the same wave?
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
That's pretty cool.
That's like, and that again, that's sort of what those events are about, right? Like, it's bringing the community together, everyone's sharing it. Like, I think it was before the comp started on the social, or maybe it was during it, but the heats were really big, weren't they? And we were just like 5-6 people going on the same wave, and it was just hilarious.
Yeah, they're great.
Like, it was just so fun. There was no like egos, no bravados. Didn't matter if you were dropping in on people, crossing over. Like, it just really
That's what it's all
reset
about,
the tone of surfing for people.
So we've got a new idea. This is a scoop or a first for the podcast, for the 10 Over Surf podcast. We're going to have a little pre-event, and we're going to do a heat draw, and we're going to steal the idea off the backdoor shootout, whereby your name's drawn out of a hat.
Nice.
And then you get to choose, when your name is drawn out, which heat you go in.
Okay, yes.
So we're hoping to get that social element of it, because I don't know who people will choose to go in a heat. You might want to avoid Jackie Hughes.
Yes, I'm coming out this year.
But yeah, I think that'll be a new idea, like a new.
That'd be really cool. Where are we meeting up?
We're going to go Joe's place.
Stinging Weaver.
Perfect place. Perfect location to come and hang out.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting.
So the night before?
No, we're going to do it. That would be quite rock and roll, but we're probably, well, I would never make it.
No.
You'd be all right.
Week before, I'd be okay. Yeah. Week before. Friday night.
Nice.
And then following weekend, everyone knows what heat they're in and who they're up against, and there's be a few grudge matches, and it'll feel a little bit more so.
You'll have some people who are going to be strategically positioning themselves with an eye to progression, and then you'll have people who are just like, I want to surf with me mate, and I'm just going to have a laugh. You know, like, let's all get in the same heat.
And did I don't know if I dreamt this or if we spoke about this, but are you doing like, so because obviously the numbers are growing a lot for the comp, are you seeding people from previous year, like 2021?
Yeah, we've done that for a few years now, haven't we?
We've done that for a few years. So it's basically the semi-finalists are seeded to the quarters, and then it's literally 8 heats of 5 with the winners progressing to meet the 8 seeds. So it's a format we've had to develop because of the lack of time that we've got. So
So going into 2 days instead of 1 day.
But we've also opened it up to there's now a grommet section, We're going to have a Grommet Girls final potentially.
If we've got time and
Yeah,
there's enough interest.
Legends, and a women's section as well. So the first one we ever ran, it was just everyone was in. The girls were in, and it was a bit of a hard one to kind of get our heads around because it was a bit sort of on the hoof really anyway. But it kind of worked. But then there's been a lot more girls who were interested in the event.
Yeah.
So they've now got their own category.
So talking about the progression of the event, where did it come from in the first place? Like when did you guys, go for a beer and say, let's do a single fin comp?
We were in Sumbawa.
Lakey Peak,
Yeah.
Sick, good place.
Yeah.
Very good place.
Where all dreams are made.
Yeah. Why did you come to that idea? You just...
Well, as I remember it, it was Guy's idea because he was a single fin vintage board advocate and collector, and he knew that I did comps and stuff like that. So we just kind of went, we should do a single fin comp.
Yeah.
And we was like, and I was frothing.
I think it was, like, let's do a single fin comp. You go, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Let's do it. And then the next 2 hours of beers was like, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, we could do that.
Yeah.
And it was like within minutes, it was at Little Fistral, wasn't it?
I can't remember how the Little
I seem
Fistral
to
came
remember
about
it.
it, but
Like,
it's
where
like,
should we do it? Where should we hold it? Little.
it's all about being
right
kind of
place.
sort of underground, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if we actually knew each other that well when we were in Sumbawa. And Sumbawa's like draws people from Newquay, doesn't it? And, and then you've always got those, everyone's in the warungs eating and drinking of an evening, and we just got chatting, and it's like, well, I run surf events, just like it was just,
Let's do it.
It was a really good match.
Yeah. And came back and got it on.
And then it's even though this will be our 10th event.
Yeah.
The first event was it 13 years ago?
Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
So this is the 10-year anniversary of the Single Fin Shootout?
Basically.
Yeah. The 10th edition. Yeah.
So the number 10 just seems to be cropping up here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Big here. A lot of 10s going around. Divine intervention.
Have we had a perfect 10?
Oh, now there's a thing.
I don't think we have.
Jay must have got one.
Yeah, he did.
Surely.
I think he got a 10 and a 9 actually.
Yeah, I think he might
got
have
a
done.
19.
Yeah, I think he might have got a backup of a 9.6.
Yeah, something like that.
That's too good. Yeah, I used to watch him. You'd be sat at the board riders. Yeah. And you'd be like, I wonder. Oh yeah, sweet. He's already like travelled 50 metres, done 10 turns, and you're like, yes, Jay.
He should ship over to Burley one year and enter.
He should. Sure. Yeah, he should come over again. He follows us on Facebook, and he's eyeing up the new boards I've brought back from Oz. So
yeah.
You brought a few back for the...
I got 2 from Oz this year, and I got 1 last year, and they're all kind of short boards because we kind of were, the girls and the grommets were struggling to sort of turn the bigger boards. Yeah. So I picked up a few sort of pretty short boards, which would be good for like sort of people like me. Yeah. You'd sink them, I think, Jack.
They feel like skateboards to me. I need the big boards.
You need one on each foot, I think.
Yeah, especially at the moment. Yeah. But no, those big boards are fun because like, as soon as you start to pivot around, the swing from the nose just like draws it right back round. So you don't really have to try and surf them. You just sort of got to like get enough speed to push the stop button on the tail and then let the nose do whatever it does, and then sort of just try and stay on it.
We've had a couple people, haven't we, surfed them really well over the years.
Yeah.
Parry surfed them well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Izzy Henshaw surfed one really well and came very close
I think
to winning.
The people who ride the longboards can surf them a lot easier because they know about shifting their weight.
Yeah.
I think the thruster guys definitely struggle, and it was really apparent when we did the twin fin contest and we made them surf the vintage the vintage boards in the final. Yeah. We sat there judging, and literally the guys have been shredding all day, and we, right, you've got to ride these. Yeah. And it, like, right, okay, off you go. Like the first 5-6 waves, everybody apart from Dodo fell off. Yeah. And we're like going, oh my God, we just shot ourselves in the foot. But then like 2 waves in, you've got like Lewis all of a sudden has just hit a groove. Yeah. He's worked out how to surf it and just loving it. But
with like modern boards now, 90% of modern boards, everything on it is there to aid you. It's there to help you. It's there to help you build speed. It's there for control. It's there so that it bites at certain parts of a turn. There wasn't as much of that thought process into those older boards, were they? So like, when you take off, it's a lot more, requires a lot more talent to control it than it does to sort of go onto one of these.
So do modern surfers have more talent than surfers from the 60s and the 70s?
Now, I agree with you, Jack. I think that the older boards were harder to ride because they were less forgiving. And also the guys that were shaping them, a lot of the concepts they were coming up with were completely original.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the concepts that the modern boards use are concepts which were developed at an earlier stage, which they finely tuned. And like you say, they know that putting a lot of volume in a board is going to make it paddle, make it easier to catch waves. Increasing the width by ever so slightly is going to make it a lot easier, more forgiving. So I'm going to say that the older guys were better.
Ooh,
They couldn't do the manoeuvres, but I think the actual skill that was required was higher.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50, but what do you think about, you take the same concept of that question and let's move it to shapers. So is a modern day shaper more talented than an earlier like period shaper?
Well, they were coming, a modern day shaper has got the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everything that's, well, not everything because it wouldn't be still evolving, but a lot of understanding and knowledge can be gained from knowing your, sort of like surf history.
I guess a lot of these like things that you'll see on a more modern board now, if you went through one of these catalogues, or magazines should I say, not catalogues, you'd see it already done at some point. And they're just taking it from that.
And they were coming from nowhere, so they were writing the book, weren't they? So I'm going to go that, the original shapers were more progressive than the modern day shapers, who were a little bit more guided by what's gone before and tweaking, whereas they were really experimental.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm going to disagree, which you'd think I probably wouldn't, because I actually think that the modern day shapers are actually.
So what you're talking modern day? What era?
Like now. Brit Merrick or something like that.
Okay.
Or John Pizell or whatever. Not that I ride their boards, but I see a lot of people who do ride them performing very well. I think that they potentially are shaping better boards, but I think the industry is definitely more geared up to help them. They've got the best test pilots from all over the world. They're making so much more money. They can shape 100 boards to be able to take a millimetre off and just get that board so it's super duper. Whereas the old guy, he probably, he's buying that blank. He's probably giving it to his mate, or even his mate might be the best surfer in the world, but he hasn't got the financial backing to make.
So you're arguing my point
boards.
or your point here?
No, I think the shapers are better, but I think they're better because they're in an environment where they've got access to more finance and to have better test pilots or more test pilots. I think if your older shaper had that access, he'd be better.
Well, so, okay, let's go back to surfers then, right? You're telling me that, I don't know, John Florence isn't a better surfer than Rabbit?
I think he was more skilled, wasn't it? He's obviously a better surfer.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But
you said that the ones before were better than John.
I think they're more skilled because they're riding a less refined piece of equipment.
Well, for that reason, I think the original shapers were more skilled because they had nothing. They had no books, so they had to come from a piece of balsa.
There's also the other thing as well, like modern day surfers, like we could sit here on get our phone out now, I can go on Surfline and I can go, oh, it's all green tomorrow, it's 4 foot, we're going fish drill. It's going to be good. The surfers, like our predecessors and back in the day, they had to really understand the ocean a lot more. And like, what's that film? Darker Seas, is it?
Yeah.
When they find G-land and then they switch their whole life to surf this. Like, that takes a lot of Sea of Darkness. Thank you. That takes a lot of skill to be able to read an ocean. Like, I couldn't look at. Well, I could look at some charts, but I couldn't look at like the charts that they would have looked at.
No.
They found G-land on a flight into Jakarta, I believe, and someone saw it out of the window of the aeroplane.
Yeah.
I've just been reading the Mike Boyden biography, and it's actually a book, G-land. It's great, and then there's another biography by his brother, and yeah, like you said, they kind of saw a point that's going to have perfect waves.
Yeah.
Then it's like, how do you get there?
Yeah. Learn to sail.
Yeah. And then go build a hut in the jungle and just stay there.
But the surf forecasting thing is another thing as well, isn't it? With the internet, like you say, with the green winds and
green wind. I love that.
where are you surfing, and everyone's on their phones, like down at the beach. Yeah, it's pumping here. Yeah, get down here. It used to be, you know, when we went down to France, it was the back page of the Sud-West. When you were here, it was watching Spotlight Weather and Craig Rich.
I'm happy that I'm old enough to remember walking home and turning on teletext to look for the CFAX, on teletext, and it'd come up in all the fun colours, and you'd be like, oh, it's going to be good at Fistral this day, like, let's go. That was always fun.
I ran up a shocking bill and the company I used to work for getting faxes from Big G's. Do you remember that? But they called me into the office. It was so funny. They called me into the office because it was an 0800 number. So they just assumed,
thought you were on the porn line.
Yeah, they just assumed that I was faxing a porn line or an adult line. And I was like, so what happens like when you get a fax back? Like, what's on this adult fax?
And like when they saw us a picture of a weather map, they just going, oh, we got nothing to worry about here.
But I had to come clean. But it was a big bill. Big G. And there was a guy, do you remember, because we used to go surfing a lot in Wales, you remember PJ? He used to give...
With the phone line?
Oh man, he used to give the best surf report ever. And off we go with a roundup of today's surfing and windsurfing conditions. He was Welsh, by the way.
It was 40, was it 40? I think it cost about 40p to listen to the whole forecast. And 40p, that was probably like, you probably buy half an lager for that at the time. But you were like, if you had 20, I was at college in Wales, you could just about squeak the Langennith. And that was the one you really wanted to know. Because it was like
and as soon as that came up, or the one that you were waiting for, we was always North Wales. So it was like, right, put it down quick.
Yeah. Get some money back.
So did he just have a preset message every day?
He
No,
used to
he used to record it.
Yeah,
on
he used to
an
record it
answer phone.
on his answer phone every day. How did he work it? It was just...
Yeah, it was an
He
answer
couldn't have
phone.
made any money out of it. He just
No.
did it as a service.
Yeah.
So funny.
And Spout. Yeah. And there was a couple of surf shops that you could phone as well and get a forecast. There was a guy on the East Coast, check this one out, he was like, he was a butcher. It was a butcher's and a little bit of a delicatessen, and it was on a beach in North Yorkshire. And he didn't have a clue about surfing, but his like shop looked out over like Sands End Beach, so you could phone him. All right, cocker, you can phone him up. What's the surf like today?
We
And
used to do that at
it's
Lynmouth,
reet lumpy.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, right, this swell then. Is there anyone in? Hang on a minute. No. And you'd be kind of like trying to piece together the jigsaw of what the conditions were like from...
Oh, there's some rollers. You've got to try and sort of translate surf terminology to get the best of someone who's got a clue.
But then, so like, hearing that, and then like modern day surfing, we're getting all these people, like a lot of people in the water and a lot of stuff. Like, do you think it was better then when you're piecing together this like puzzle of information and you were really sort of like searching out these spots, or do you like the ease of being able to wake up and go like, it's good for the next 16 days, or it's terrible for the next 16 days?
I just get up and check it. I
Yeah,
just get up every morning and check it, like pretty much first light. I don't think which is great for your local break, but not if you want to be travelling somewhere else. But I still just listen. Look, I watch the weather, and you'd have to be an idiot to say you didn't benefit from surf forecast. But do I think it's better? Not really. No, I think it takes that element of, like you said, just being able to look at a forecast, using your experience. And you could catch a gem. I mean, Nick surfed all over the place. I've probably met all the time when it's stormy conditions. Oh, where's going to be good on this?
It gets you out there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looking.
Have you got a little black book at home that you write down, like this tide, this swell direction, this wind, this spot?
I've got a hella good one in New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I've got what was it called? The New Zealand Surf Rider Guide, the pink and blue one.
The Surfer Guide.
Surfer Guide,
Yeah.
New Zealand. I've got a couple of people contributed greatly to that, and that was in New Zealand with a guy called Chris O'Malley from Couchra, Kaikoura, and he was ex-New Zealand champion. He gave me the in for everywhere and a phone number for everywhere I go, everywhere I went.
That's good info.
And I tell you what, every single one of them came good. Everyone. How did you get my number? How did you get my number? No, that wasn't Kiwi.
You sound like Michael Jackson.
Shimon speaking.
So do you think you'd like? You don't get that in surfing anymore. You don't get people.
You don't. You're right.
You don't get people sharing that like.
I've got a map of New Zealand the same as, and just literally opened it out with a guy, and there's crosses. This is a peaky beach break. This is a right-hand point break, needs a such and such swell. Yeah. And it's great. And then you go there and you meet other people and you get your map out. Yeah. And you can do it when you're like a lone traveller or maybe a couple of guys. Yeah. But what's happening now is you just get, like you say, you got like 4 guys going to turn up with a van. The sliding door's going to come open. They might well have a camera with them. They might have a filmer. Who knows? But either way, they're instant rent-a-mob. They've seen it on the forecast. They're frothed, and it's like the local guys are probably pretty chilled guys, And like I say, when most places I've been to around the world, if you turn up as a single surfer, you've got to be pretty hardcore local to tell someone to get out of the water if they're by themselves and they're being respectful. If they're kind of like just sort of reading the vibe of the lineup and like edging their way to the lineup until maybe a local sort of says to them, hey, how's it going? Or you speak to them, you're like, hey, and just go, I'm from the UK. What?
And then they go, there's no waves there. And you go, yeah, no, there is, I promise. There is.
No, you say, no, you're right, there isn't.
Yeah, it's rubbish. Saying about the people turning up, I've just come back from Sri Lanka and I've seen the ultimate renter mob. Like, I was surfing, it's called Fisherman's, and two buses.
Well, like buses?
Buses. 2 buses full of one surf school. Oh, wow. Turned up to a break and paddled out. Wow. And everyone just like, you cleared the water. Like it was, I've possibly like 80 people.
Flip. Oh, right. Proper buses.
Oh, buses. Paddled out to one place and you're just like, that's surfing done for the day. I'm not going back in. So, travelled all over New Zealand, obviously done a lot of the UK, Australia, Sumatra. Where is your all-time favourite wave?
I could tell you where I've had one of my best surfs, if not the best surf, would be probably Lakey's, but not a Lakey Peak at Periscope. Probably. Yeah.
Some wave, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the one? Where's Periscope then? Is that around the?
It's just up to the right. Yeah. It's just so crowded now, and it's like I say, it's just full of goons. But it used to be relatively uncrowded. And I'm not even talking about going back 30 years. I'm just talking about going back maybe sort of 15 years. And you just get the odd day, when it rains and it's been onshore and it turns offshore and people don't, That's another thing, you know, like if you're in the tropics, it's hot.
Yeah.
You know, you get a bit of rain, the onshore turns offshore,
Yeah.
and like if you're on it, literally as soon as those drops are coming out of the sky, you're like, you're running for a bike and just heading back to the wave, because in half an hour it's howling offshore, you know.
Yeah.
And you're lucky in the tropics and a lot of other places because you get the consistent seasons, right? And you kind of get those consistency in weather patterns where if you're there for a little while or someone's told you before, you can clock into those things and just be like, I'm going. I find it quite hard in Cornwall because we're so open to weather fronts and it's just always so crazy. You never really know what's going on.
Yeah, I think that you can still score because of that, because it is so fickle. You can really strike gold still. That's a nice feeling that it's out there, because the conditions are so changeable, because you'd think that everything would be down pat when you can forecast, you know the tide, you know this, you know that. But
this is why we need the sandbanks. This is why we need to get the diggers and just build sandbanks on tides, because at least we'd know we'd have a good bank. Like the thing here is the sand shifts so much, doesn't it, that you can surf a tide on a bank and that's it.
I reckon the UK is one of the only places that you can see a perfect wave break on a beach, paddle to that spot, and then never see another wave break in that spot again.
Yeah.
I've had it today.
In fact, it would be where you were just sat.
Quick question. Best pasty in Cornwall?
Best pasty in Cornwall.
Well, the funny thing is that somehow Facebook's got me on this weird algorithm.
Right.
Where I think I told you, didn't I? There's like this page popped up called Rate My Pasty.
Yeah.
And people just like post photos of the pasties they've either made or bought.
Ooh.
And they just came up with this pasty, and it just seems to get rave reviews. It's in Helston called that Gear Farm.
Oh, Gear Farm's good.
And so before I went back to work, I was like, treat the missus, take her out for a pasty. So we drove down to Helston, bought this pasty, and it was great.
Yeah.
But
it's good.
I don't know, I think they're all. There's some, that was a really great pasty.
Brazen K's.
I've heard they're good.
Yeah, they're excellent.
And Mary's are good.
Right, where's Mary's?
They've got a few.
Is Mary's the one in ground? They've got it in ground pound.
I think they might have one in Grand Pound. They've also got one in Helston as well, I think.
Yeah.
Anne's as well, I think Anne's. But you have to be like if you're over here.
Where's Brazen Mary?
Newquay wise, I quite like, you can still get them up Veals, Brazen K's ones at Veals Butchers or whatever that's called
Chester
now,
Road.
Chester Road.
Yeah.
Was that
They're
Brazen K's?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're wicked. I thought they made them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Good amount of meat in there.
Quite like Peter Morris.
He was shut last time I went there. Yeah. Because there's actually like a sort of an untraditional pasty I like. They've got a curried cauliflower one in.
Can we cut? Can we stop filming?
Which is really nice, but it's just not pasty material, is it?
Yeah.
How
about you?
Where my favourite pasty is?
Come on, Jack, you must know a few secrets.
Not even secret ones, like Phelps. If you go down to down Hale way, have that. That's always banging straight after a surf. That one just fills the void. Yeah. Chester Road Butchers. Wow, I didn't know the Brazen K's. I've learned something. I appreciate that.
Horse and Jockey, Porthleven, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Chen Creek
That's the
Farm
biggest
Shop.
pasty ever. Chen Creek, I've not been there, I don't think.
Yeah, what's the one down Lane?
Lane, that's
Lane. Lane Farm Shop does a good pasty. Yeah, they're just so good though, aren't they, pasties? Yeah. Where did I... Oh, okay, actually, no. I know where my all-time favourite pasty is. St Agnes Bakery.
Oh, yeah?
That pasty is phenomenal.
I like their sausage roll.
The doorstops.
Yes.
You could build a house out of their sausage rolls. It's crazy. But like, if you surf down that way, and then get a Aggie Bakery pasty on the way.
Never go anymore. Don't know why. I pass
No, I
it
don't.
every day,
It's,
but never surf it.
It's probably. I was going to say probably uncrowded, but it's probably really crowded.
It's just a nice crowd down there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I went. So Harry Timpson's moved down there now,
Yeah.
and I go and hang out with him every now and then, stay with him, and we'll just surf. And it's like, when it's low tide, it spreads everyone out quite well.
Big beach then, isn't it?
And like we had one surf, and I was just like being in France.
Yeah.
Like it's so good down there, and
Yeah.
it's like it's really busy, so nobody should ever go there. But no, it's just such a nice.
You have to cut this bit out.
Yeah. Secrets
Yeah,
will be hated.
yeah, we're definitely cutting that bit out.
They'll come with their pitchforks to.
You won't be able to go down there next time, Jack. We'll surf with Harry, and then Harry will get like
Yeah.
you get
You can just bleep the names and the locations.
the names and locations were changed to protect the innocent.
I would say I was surfing today, and I was thinking, I was like, maybe I'll talk about where I surfed today. And then I was like, I surfed with 4 people in the water. I was like, there's no way I'm talking about where I surfed today. But it was good.
Nice.
Just a lot of paddling. A
Low
lot of
tide or high tide?
dropping. Loads of surprise sandbanks that were just like, it would honestly, it'd be on this bank for like five waves.
Yeah.
You know, you would just be like, if you're in the wrong place, you've missed it and it was gone. But for all of the like effort that I was putting into paddling around and getting out the rips and getting back in a rip and duck diving, it was really fun. I had one wave and it was really good. So I got to have a big smile on my face. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fun. I've been enjoying it. It's weird going, because I basically was surfing my mid-lengths so much. And then whilst I was away, I was like, oh, I'll get back into shortboarding. They're going to love it. Got a couple of shortboards and I was surfing them and I was in boardies and I was like, surfing shortboards is the best. I came back here, had one surf on it, I put it up for sale. I've ordered two mid-lengths off Darchi and surf my single fin again. Like it's just.
You've been away all winter, haven't you?
I've been in Sri Lanka. It's been really fun.
Nice.
It's a fun wave.
Yeah.
You know, I would never say it's like a amazing wave,
No.
but it's a great place to go to just sort of slow down.
Beautiful country, isn't it?
Beautiful country.
Amazing
like,
food.
Food.
Wow.
People are really nice, I
Yeah.
think, as well.
Yeah.
The people.
You've been to Sri Lanka?
Only East Coast, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Didn't know you've been there.
Picture.
You've been Maldives?
Yeah.
Get good waves?
Yeah.
Did you go back?
Yeah, I mean, the thing when we went to Maldives, it was there wasn't really boat charters, and
Right.
we stayed on the land camp at Lower Fushi, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
was basically advertised as a honeymooners place.
Yeah.
So there was naffle surfers,
Yeah.
and Mac Capel's brother Dan was the surf guide there, and there was like there was just not many
one
people
there.
there. So you'd surf like sultans and honkies, chickens and cokes, and you know there would be like 8 to 10 people in the water. I can't
Yeah.
imagine what it's like now. But when you came back to Lower Fushi and just on the land camp, no boats ever used to stop there, and because most of the people were honeymooners, you'd get these great evening sessions
Yeah,
with like I don't know, like 6 or 8 people in the water, and then
Nice.
you come off the rocks, and there's a guy, the lifeguard, running down to take your board off you, which you've kind of freaked out about, and then by the time you got to up to the top of the rocks, you got a pint waiting for you on the
Oh my God.
It was amazing.
How come you chose to surf, like, you guys have obviously grown up through the progression of surfboards, starting from like the older shapes into the modern stuff now. Where did you say like, I don't want to keep going up to the modern things, because you're always running down the beach with something weird under your arm.
Really wonderful.
Yeah, like so are you. Like you're not. I never see you come in with something straight from the store that's brand new. You know, like you're always surfing.
Well, for me, it was initially when I went to Oz in '96. I stayed with this Aussie dude, and he used to, on his way back from work, he used to go to the cash converters, and he started picking up vintage boards from the cash converters for like 10, 20 bucks. And he used to bring them into the house, and we just all go, oh, that's amazing. And his parents had a place at Mona Vale, just outside of Sydney. And it's pretty relaxed. So he's got like 20, 30, 40 boards in the backyard, all vintage boards he's picked up from cash converters. And literally, the surf was like junk. We all went to his house, went in the backyard, just grabbed boards, and we went down the beach, and we just surfed them, and it was good fun. So I decided when I came back from Oz, I was going to start collecting vintage boards. So I did that initially, and they didn't really go that great, but you had fun.
Yeah.
And then I think really for me it was watching Sprout and seeing the surfing on Sprout around sort of 2006, 2007, maybe, I'm not sure. But off the back of that, I got Brian Bulkley to shape me a twin fin.
Yeah.
And no one rode twin fins.
No.
Absolutely no one. And I jumped on it and I hated it. And I literally put it in the cupboard for a year, didn't even touch it. And then for some reason got it out, and the next time I surfed it, I absolutely loved it. It just went so well, and I just couldn't get off it.
Yeah.
And that, I guess that was 2010, something like that. And just being on that sort of twin fin path, and then through that, you then go to shops selling that sort of thing, like Retro Groove in Coolangatta.
Coolangatta, yeah.
And then they introduce you to single fins and bonzas, fishes, and then the UK's had quite a lot of prolific shapers.
I think once you get into that scene of alternative boards, there's always another one to go for. So like, as soon as you're in there for life, if you see what I mean, because
like
one thing just leads to another.
Another fin setup, another hip in a different place.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other.
I mean, lots of people ride 20s now, don't they? Like, lots more people ride 20s now. Do you think? I think there's quite a lot of people that just ride exclusively 20s now, isn't there? Got a few mates that do. Just only 20s. So it's becoming, I don't know, really widespread, isn't it? So these comps have got a little bit more interest. They were quite niche, weren't they? The shootout was. Not many people were interested in it, were they, in the first couple of years? 2012.
But as soon as there was the mention of a twin fin contest, it was like
pushing at an open door there.
Yeah. But it's weird, right? Because you're just saying that nobody would ride a twin fin. Not a single person, but now
maybe Jim. I didn't really know Jimbo at the time, but I think Revolver was probably maybe just opened. So Jimbo would probably maybe have been riding twin fins. There might have been a bit like, and obviously
soap bars came over here like fairly early on, didn't there? There was a lot of soap bars around. More than 20s, more than like keelfin fish.
No,
so I think it was more keelfin fish.
It was more like more the Liz fish. But I didn't even have a fish. I had a twin fin. It was an MR replica because Matt Barrow had just started at Factory 52 or something. Yeah. And he had the Lost license.
Oh yeah.
And I said, "Oh, Lost make MR twin fins." Yeah. And he's gone, "Oh yeah, we can make you one of them."
Wicked.
And I think it took me about 6 months to get this board off him. Yeah. And like I said, Brian Bulkley came over, and because he didn't, he did have a shaping machine, but they didn't have the files for a twin fin, so I got a hand-shaped Bulkley twin fin. I've still got that board, and it's still, I could pick that board up now, and I swear it would be one of the best boards I would ride. Yeah, it's an absolutely amazing board.
Sprout was a game changer, wasn't it, though?
I think so, yeah.
So what do you reckon the best board for the UK is? Like if you had to...
I think a twin fin.
Yeah,
but it's different for everybody, isn't it, really? But for me, it's a twin fin, but...
Yeah, I think they suit our sort of softer waves and
I had
slopey waves.
I had like a blip in my surfing, I guess. And I was just super down and I was like, I hate surfing, surfing's awful. And Darchie bought me what was it? It was like a 7.6 twin pin. And I hadn't surfed for ages. I'd had like a shoulder injury. I was just like,
I remember that time.
Dragging myself around like, oh, I'm so sick of it. And
you
then
were energised.
Oh my God. One surf at Watergate, I called him and I was like, you started a fire. And then I surfed like 4 times a day, every day for 6 months, just riding 20s. Like, they're so fun. And they give you that like bit of fire, don't they?
What was that Aussie surfer that worked out of Seabase for a bit? Darcy? He made quite a
Darcy,
few
he was
twin pins, didn't he? He surfed good on a 20.
He was a good surfer,
yeah.
Who was the other one up there? There was a guy from New Zealand as well.
Oh yeah.
At Seabase?
Free Sticks.
Free Sticks, yeah.
Oh, Felix Dixon.
Yeah, Felix, yeah.
He's got a UK missus. The last time I saw
Really?
Felix was over here,
Is
and
that right?
I haven't seen him in New Zealand. But I haven't been back to New Zealand for 4 or 5 years, I don't think. But yeah, he was good.
I'd never seen him surf until one day we were on a job. It was me, him, and Ben Butler, and we were all working together. And then tools down, went surfing, and I hadn't seen him surf at this point. Oh my God!
He rips.
He rips.
Yeah.
He was mental. Then I found out he used to be like the head of Billabong surf team in New Zealand, and they'd just basically go on trips all the time
Nice.
to surf pumping waves.
It's life.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure
Nice
having you on the
one.
couch. Thank you very much for being
Cheers,
here for the
Jack.
first one.
Top man.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, mate.
I look forward to the first single fin shootout in a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 10th one though, right?
Yeah.
10th.
25th, 26th of May. 17th is the heat draw.
Big stinging weaver party.
Big party.
Nice.
Get rid of the hangover and turn up for a heat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then the Legion to finish it off.
We're gonna possibly we're definitely doing live music if the weather is good,
Yeah.
down the beach. Don't tell the council.
No, never. Don't tell them anything.
And yeah, there's a possibility of a party on the Sunday night after the finals because it's Bank Holiday Monday.
Bank Holiday Monday.
So we can all get loose.
Perfect.
Any excuse.
We'll be there.
You.
These are, yeah. Perfect.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.